Good day, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Open Contact TV. If you're new to the channel, I'm Wendy. This is my husband, Dave. And here we reflect on everything related to open contact, channeling, hybrid children, sacred circuitry, the teachings of Bashar, connecting with our multidimensional selves, beginning with ourselves, and utilizing all these tools and permission slips, which is part of what we wanted to talk about today, is tools and permission slips and how it helps me connect and channel and talk with some of these beings and the information I receive and how we get it. And today, as we record this, it's February 20th, the 20th of February, 2025. And today's date, if you add it together, is 13. Dave and I are really excited about utilizing the sacred circuitry I have for many, many years and kind of turn him onto it and to utilize it as a permission slip, as a tool for me to help connect to my Sasani family. Specifically, it started out that way. I don't have my contact crystal on right now, but I began using these a little over a decade ago to assist me in permission to connect with those ideas, to discover more of who I am multidimensionally. It opened up tons of doors for me. I started speaking light languages. I started connecting with all kinds of, the Yael were some of the first that I channeled. And today we wanted to talk a little bit too about the hybrid children and that idea and how that's been sparking within me, and I've been connecting, and we have both been connecting with synchronicities and ideas relating to that, relating to open contact, not just disclosure, but that is also what this is a part of, and this channel is about, but primarily on, how is this going to look when we start actively being engaged with the Interstellar Alliance, but before all of that, how each and every one of us are connecting personally in unique ways, and how we're being guided to perhaps different places in the world of where to go. And that's kind of what prompted this discussion today, is that idea of connecting with them. But today equals 13, which is transform. So if you're familiar with the sacred circuits, transform, number 13. And we know him as Saibo, the Sasani, the trickster, and how I've always kind of gotten the notion that, a lot of times our transformation is sort of like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say our higher self is tricking us, but it's kind of like we trick ourselves into transforming by creating our reality using permission slips and synchronicities to put the meaning together. And so anyway, with that idea, today being transformation, one of the things that Dave and I like to talk about is how we're transforming. And if you see, it's kind of funny because you look like a butterfly, Dave. So I've got my butterfly wings out back here, which Dave bought me a long time ago. So they're hanging up here, and I spread out the wings, as crazy as it sounds, because one of the things that the hybrid children connect with us so deeply is through nature. And they said to me, put the butterfly wings out, put the butterfly wings out. Their excitement in connecting with us and learning about Earth and every part of Earth, like if we were to go to another planet like Esasani, wouldn't I feel like I would want to learn every single thing about like the animals, the crystals, the grounds, the landscapes, the trees, the flowers, all of it. So I feel that they're channeling us right now to do the same thing. Like they're excited about, I had this, grape jelly amethyst crystal. And it's like just connecting with this, they started talking to me and said, hi, I'm Amethyst. And then another one says, hi, I'm Grape. And I'm like, because they're taking names from Earth. They're taking names from the trees, the flowers, the plants. And this is one of the ways we use permission slips like crystals to help us activate these things. But yet, once we use the permission slip, we understand that if it works, we use it. But yet, if we've moved on, and this is where we started talking about decluttering permission slips today, and about connecting with the hybrid children, and so, which I'll obviously let Dave chime in about this, but we've also been getting this deep pull toward Hawaii, and the idea of it being a hybrid hub, hybrid children hub, and what does this pull mean to us? Why? And we've got literally, and I just noticed today too, Dave's got a palm tree on his shirt. And I've got palm tree placemats, and we have palm trees all over the room here. And a lot of it came from Florida decorations, but that's part of it. And that's part of how Dave and I started connecting more with the idea of the hybrid children as well, is being in Florida, being near the water, maybe it's the ocean. I got super emotional today, connecting with the dolphin energy, the whale energy around the Hawaiian Islands, and the hybrid children connecting with me through them. That was a really important part of the morning for me. It's been really emotional connecting with all of this and wondering, what is this pull about? And are you guys, as you're opening up yourselves to open contact, are you being pulled to different places? A lot of people are being pulled here in the United States to Sedona. And Hawaii. And then I'm reminded about that they will begin to connect with us personally in remote areas and very specific places all over the world. And what do I do with this information besides follow the formula? So there you go, Dave. How's that for a segue?
Well, we're also talking about belief systems.
Yes.
And how there are belief systems in the spiritual community that are not necessarily our own beliefs. And we talk about beliefs that don't belong to us and things that we adopt and we accept because we hear them from other spiritual people. And one of them is the whole decluttering idea.
Yes.
And while there's certainly something to it, we were just pondering the idea of things that are sort of cluttered around us, like all of this.
I mean, we have a lot of lots of stuff, crystals, and
we understand they're permission slips, but they're also teaching aids.
And we were talking about that, teaching tools.
The idea that something like crystals, while everything is a permission slip, there are also reminders. And we have these things because when we connect with the crystal, the energy of the crystal, we're also connecting with the other things that are associated with that are in that energy. And they allow us very easily to connect to those other consciousnesses, be it the hybrid children that are excited about the same thing, or collectives or other extraterrestrials or earth-based nature things. And so the question is, would we want to, pack all this stuff up and not have it because...
Could I do that?
Is that something that excites us? And I think we've determined that it's not exciting to put them all away and have...
That's what we were talking about, though. I fluctuate. There are days when I say, I could, I know that these are permission slips. I know that they're always going to be a part of me. They're my consciousness. I created them. We created them through our consciousness. When you begin to look through that lens, you start to see this stuff in a different way. And I think, it's all part of me anyway. So could I pack it all away, or even worse, get rid of it?
Well, we know, we know that once the teacher teaches you the idea and you're familiar with the frequencies of these things, you don't need it
anymore.
But they're tools of the trade. And it's sort of funny because I'm going through a situation with my work where some of the tools of the trade are being regulated a little bit more without a full understanding of what that means from a business standpoint. And sure, we don't need the crystals, we don't need feathers, we don't need necklaces, we don't need any of those things, but they're tools of the trade. And certainly when we want to talk about things for other people who are watching this and offer them suggestions of permission slips for them, having these as examples and even showing, so funny you have the apple crystal.
Well, that's the one thing I wanted to say about
just
that.
showing that
Yeah.
as a permission slip for the viewer, for those of you who are watching this, allows you to use the permission slip to connect in your own way, and maybe inspires you to find your own crystal, or walk around in the backyard or at the park and find a rock or something that speaks to you, and use that. You don't have to go buy something necessarily.
And the funny thing is this was a gift, and from my mom, who has since transitioned into non-physical. And when she gave it to me, she didn't even realize the impact that it had on me, because I had been doing, YouTube videos for a long time, teaching people these principles and ideas, and teaching people about being the masters of the masters and the masters of limitation, and that idea, and that this is filled with hexagons also. So there was that idea of, for me, a connection to the Interstellar Alliance and Bashar and teachers and master teachers. But it was a very significant message to me about being the teachers of the teachers. That, that's you, that's us. If you're watching this, we are the teachers of the teachers and masters of limitation. And then being filled with hexagons, it also reminds me of like Doctor Who. We laugh about that too, about how the inside of the TARDIS, if you're familiar with it, is hexagons, and how in so many examples of connection to extraterrestrials and other beings and otherworldly ideas, that shape, the hexagon, is used in so many ways. And the idea of the apple being, we give apples to the teachers. Like, it was so significant. And now in non-physical, I know she's here watching, I'm getting that feeling. And I talk to her through nature. That's just the way. And that's the thing about the hybrid children and other civilizations look at us in awe of the things that we're doing here to teach all of these civilizations and all these other planets, and how we're the best conductors of channelers. And plants are also the best conductor of communication from them to Earth to us when we connect through nature. And I'm just reminded about the apple trees that Dave and I just got, that we're getting ready to plant ourselves, and we just planted several trees. Those things in of itself are symbols for us, permission slips about inviting the hybrid children. Just planting trees to us is another permission slip. The things that we hang around us, the artwork that we create, the number 9 sacred circuit that hangs above us, symbolizing 2025 as the year to receive.
So I'll put you on the spot. Is it more exciting to you to have these crystals around, to be able to just go grab them? So that means it's part of the kit of excitement. So
we were talking about that. He said, well, don't you enjoy having them at the ready?
Who cares if some guru guy says, you should minimize your stuff and declutter.
And it's too much chaos, and it's too stimulating. And
so
because I felt that way
that's good
sometimes.
For them, fine. I don't care.
But
for us, it's more exciting to have these things around, and we've got a lot of different, weird permission slippy things.
Lots of different things.
But it was exciting for us to think about them before we got them. It was fun for us to get them. It was fun for us to play with them.
But that will never minimize the remembering of how we got them. But you guys, I think I've transformed into that place now. And even if I don't want to admit it, maybe I've transformed into that place where I know I don't need them, and I would be okay if even though I started we laugh about twitching with getting rid of things, and we've already been this round before with Dave and I actually thinking about, I'm not, well, contemplating the idea that we might have to sell our home and sell all of our stuff and leave, and so having gone through that and now this, I realize I think I can do that now and start fresh, transform without all of it. But yeah, I guess for today, it feels like I still want it near me, but I really do feel like I've transformed beyond, I don't need it anymore.
So
So,
we look at
Crystal Skull.
the crystals, and really all of them, the crystals and the stones, and the different rocks and those kinds of things. We have little tiny gem related things.
Oh, yes.
But they're part of our family. We've connected to them. We've communicated with them. They're part of our family. So if we had to pick up and leave,
I would
we
give
would,
them to someone, or
well,
put them somewhere for keeping, or
we would
take with.
we would take them
I would,
as best
yeah.
as we could.
Yeah, I would take all my
So-
crystals. That's the one thing when we moved before.
And we have a set of 13 crystal skulls specifically.
That went with us in our personal stuff. All of
And
our crystals in
do
one
we
bag.
need to have them? No. Are they permission slips? Yes. But just thinking about them is enough to connect to them.
Yes.
But as far as we're concerned, it's sort of a pain to have some clutter around. But I'm not buying into the whole thing of you need to declutter
Right.
to make room for more things. You contain it all. We all contain it all. So there's no getting rid of anything. There's only acknowledging that we contain
But
it
the
all.
one thing that we were talking about was that, and as far as my own personal transformation was, yes, there are certain things that I think all of us would take with us that are our sacred tools, as Dave said, our sacred tools of the trade, our teaching tools. I'm not sure I could part with all of my oracle cards either, although I could buy every one of those decks again. But they have always traveled with me as well. But we were talking about if the higher excitement is, like, for example, for us it was the idea of, wow, if moving to Hawaii to be with the hybrid children in a way that we may be guided to do. Yes, of course there are things that I would bring with us, but what I was saying to him was, because of that excitement and that focus, it would be very easy to transition and to transform and to move into that energy. Like, if I couldn't fit, because I can't fit all this stuff in my mind's eye, but that's a belief, which we talked about earlier too, that in my mind, that I would have to downsize if I moved to a Hawaiian island. I would have to downsize. I'd have to get rid of everything. But that's again a belief that I wouldn't have a place large enough to house all of our stuff. But it wasn't about that. It was about, I'm ready to start new, fresh. Like, yes, I would bring the things that I behold, and maybe that would change. I think a lot of that happens as we move from place to place. I think we also transform and transcend beyond a lot of that stuff, and we end up getting rid of things or giving them away, or that kind of thing.
And the idea too of having the excitement of something, but having no insistence.
Yes. Yes.
Not requiring things to turn out a certain way. Oftentimes the excitement is really to get you to move in a certain direction. It's sometimes to enlighten you about certain things about yourself that are time for review. And even the idea of the excitement of going someplace else, what we think might be waiting for us there, that might just be a way to move us to reconsider what our beliefs are about some of these other things.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with moving at all.
Right.
And once again, there's sort of a belief in the spiritual community about being drawn to certain places and people dropping everything and moving
just,
to that place,
yeah.
when that might not have even been the point of it.
So yeah,
Often-
we're looking at that too, obviously. Yeah.
But, you know, what's the most exciting thing that you can do now? And today, we might be able to pack up and move, but it's not really, that's not something that I would say is available right now. That means that there's other things to do here that are also exciting.
Which we then have a belief system because we understand Bashar's threshold of beliefs that, how long in your belief system does it take you to think, oh, well, how long would it take for us to be able to do that? And you're like, okay, well, probably a year to pack it all up, get everything in order, find a house, do this. And I think, well, maybe not. We moved in this house. We left our last house, sold it, and moved in here within, what, a couple months?
Yeah.
3 months or something?
No,
2 months?
like 2 months.
2 months.
So, yeah.
It can happen.
And the other idea, too, is let's say we were getting some synchronicities about Hawaii.
Which we have been.
And I would say probably we have been for a long time.
A long time. Oh, yeah. Me too, personally.
Mostly we haven't been able to act on it
Right.
for whatever reason. But I think it's also important to remember that if you're excited about the thing, whatever it is, then you're also going to see more synchronicities that are related to that thing you're excited about.
Absolutely.
So the idea that, okay, we're excited about Hawaii and we see other people all of a sudden popping up on YouTube talking about Hawaii, or get an email from somebody that's talking about Hawaii, or someone that's in Hawaii makes a YouTube video that we haven't seen for a while, and all of a sudden that
it just pops up.
That doesn't necessarily mean go to Hawaii. It's just supporting our excitement about Hawaii.
About that.
And it might be learning about Hawaii. It might be finding out something about Hawaii that we didn't know before that's relevant to whatever it is that we're our other excitement. So we don't the idea of the excitement that you have is always connected to your bigger picture of excitement, even though we might think they're separate things. So we might be excited about gardening, and now all of a sudden we're also excited about Hawaii. Well, there's a connection there that we may or may not understand, but it's all part of the same excitement. And it might just mean, and we haven't done this yet really, but maybe it's, let's see how they garden in Hawaii, and maybe we could try some of those things here. Or let's look at a picture of a garden in Hawaii, and maybe that's how we should set up our garden here. We don't know, but the whole point is
I'm not feeling that.
follow our excitement as best as you can, and that will lead you to the more and more exciting
and
things.
Sometimes it does lead you back full circle to think, okay, wow, I am. It reminds us that we're right where we need to be right now in this way, and and we're in that vibration, and yet it also really transforms my belief systems and my thresholds of believability about what we're able to do, and without any insistence of, well, how's that going to happen, and I can't afford that right now, and so there's a lot of like Dave said, when you're moving into that excitement. It's like when we met on the beach, but it was in Florida and there were palm trees everywhere. One of the first words I wrote out that in my Bashar book, I call it my kind of ascension journey book, was the word aloha, and broken out into what each of the sounds and symbols mean of aloha. So this has been something that's been in my radar for a long, long time, and for whatever reason. But following in the excitement of it will point us in the direction in which we need to go. And again, if that's where we're supposed to be, and that is our highest joy and excitement, and that's where our focus is, then the means will avail itself. It just does. It just will. Um, and again, like Dave said too, maybe it's just for us to get in the vibration for me, it's a confirmation of my own connections to the hybrid children that I've been getting in my dreams, been getting during the day when I'm doing things. They're asking questions all the time. They want to know a lot about what's going on here, and now I know it's really happening for me. I can't imagine something I'm not already the vibration of, but we are seriously thinking about this idea, and I'm like, okay,
So let us know
what does it mean?
let us know what permission slips you guys are using to connect to the other hybrid children, the other extraterrestrials, the other your guides and spirits and so forth. How are you connecting with those? What are the things that you guys are using? I know over the years we've seen all kinds of I'll use the term triggers that activate
Yeah.
and inspire
Oh,
people.
that was the other thing. There was a gentleman channeling. He did a channeling on Facebook, and he was channeling a hybrid child through another hybrid child, and something clicked in me, and I realized that I have definitely been connecting with them more and more, and I'm still laughing because apparently there is one named Butterfly, which would make a lot of sense. So there's that idea of, okay, Dave and I are here, and you really look like a butterfly, Dave. That's kind of funny. Like, we should have changed places, but that idea of transformation, all of that idea comes with the butterfly. But that they're taking names of our nature, and things in our nature, and how I'm more connecting with them through the nature, through the flowers. Yet they're also showing me, and I don't know exactly how, but they're also showing me how the sacred circuitry is also connecting us through the sharings, and somehow this is connected to nature. Like, I'm not exactly there. It's hard, and I'm not even sure how to explain it, but they're showing me that this is also representations of nature. And something about, because it was handed down, and we still don't know, and I've been asking my guides, where did they originate prior to Sirius, and given to the Yael, to give to the society, to give to us as a permission slip and a tool. Somehow this is connecting us to that energy and those ideas of the hybrid children, and I'm hearing it has to do with DNA, the sharing of the DNA, the activating of the understanding of the sharing of our DNA, and all of these portals all over the world. And I have all of the chakra points written in my journal as well. And we talked about that, about being in the heart chakra of the planet, and so there's a lot of connections that come through all of this if we take the opportunity to reflect and connect and allow us to receive. That's really big this year, is us being better receivers, better communicators, better telepathic, generators of communication. And all of these permission slips and how they help us do that. And no, we don't need them. We realize that all we need is this. We just need that. That's all. But yet that we're eternally and infinitely connected to every single one of these things. Like, all of you are now, of course, okay, it's not that you just became connected to all of our stuff, if you will. It's not like it just happened, but yet now you've become aware that now your energy and our energy and this energy, all of it is, creates a whole new energy of consciousness, and a whole new connections of those hexagrams, if you will, Anyway,
Well, and we've also seen a lot of people lately uh, saying what we've been saying all along about the idea that open contact begins from within, and the idea of meeting our family from outside of Earth really starts with connecting to our family from within first. And that's the first step in having open contact. And however many people are doing this, it's enough to bring forth the unfolding of the actual physical contact. And uh, having a practice of regularly connecting to more of ourselves, more of the other consciousnesses, the other individual extraterrestrials, and other family members. Because remember, while they might, while in some cases they might be categorized as extraterrestrials, some of these beings are really, at least at one point, were living on Earth and left. So we're inviting our family back, and in
yes,
order to,
yes,
even if you just thought of your family, uh, human family, if you're not willing to invite your human family back, they're not coming back. So we're doing the same thing at a higher level and at a higher vibration.
I
And
have a really loud tone in my ear, really loud, and it's usually on this side. And right now it's on this side. So,
so welcome
yeah,
home.
yeah, welcome home. Um, and if you're new to this channel, I was being in nature. Really activated me in a big way. And so if you're unfamiliar with my other channel, Languages of Lights, I started sharing, I'm just starting now my 10th year on YouTube, sharing my connections with the hybrid children over the last 10 years. A lot of videos in nature connecting with them. So just a reminder of that. This is still an ongoing relationship. Like right now when I'm thinking about time as we create time, it's hard for me to believe that it's been 10 years, and it's like, God, and it still hasn't happened. Kind of a thing. But it's like we are on the precipice of this change, regardless of exactly what year open contact's going to happen. Right now the contacts are happening right now with each and every one of us who um, use whatever permission slip that is, even if it's just closing your eyes and saying, I would love to connect with you. And Violet, I will sing, Violet, there is a hybrid child, Violet, right now, saying hello, introducing herself. And I'm reminded now, too, I have wild violets growing all over my yard. They're just wild. And my grandmother's name is Violet. My niece's name is Violet. And she's telling me that she and I have been in contact for a long time, her and I. And it is that simple, you guys. It's that simple. I hear her. It is so simple and so subtle that they want to remind you that it's that simple. Like you hear it, you can hear them. It's almost like don't complicate it, they're saying. Don't complicate it. They're just be open. And that's all it takes. Like you don't need any of this stuff. You don't need to buy anything expensive. You don't need to buy contact crystals. You don't need to do that. They're already there. They're just like, just don't complicate it. Yes, she's right here. She's like, I am here. I'm excited to meet with all of you. Um, she's like, there's so much to learn. There's so much information to share between, our world and your world. The excitement is uh, accelerating. The closer we get to that idea, of meeting our family, Um, it really is that subtle and that simple, and she's there with a lot of others. I tend to connect with them deeply through flowers and trees, but flowers specifically. That's just been always been one of the ways I've connected with them from the very beginning. So maybe open yourself up that way, and you don't, and that's everybody. Dave is so open to plants and plant energy and flower energy, and this is not a feminine thing. It's a human connection. It doesn't matter that part, that it's a human connection, and he feels it. Like, we're deeply, like, I know how anxious he is for the weather to change here. It's very cold today here, and we're in central Alabama, if you're new. And we've got trees and apple trees in the garage waiting to go, and I can feel it. I can feel his energy from here, and the hybrid children's energy, because they are with us when we're planting this stuff. They are so excited, you guys. So excited. And I get tingles because one of the reasons why Dave and I wanted to plant our own stuff was so we could grow, good food, the purest food that we could grow, have it right in our own backyard, because I really feel like this is a way for them to connect with us. Maybe they're going to connect with us here, and we don't have to go to Hawaii. I don't know what that pull is right now, and I don't have to define it. I don't have to. I know I'll need to know what I need to know when I need to know it, and for me, that's a big transformation for me, you guys, because boy, then it's like I need to know now, and I want to go, and what do we do, and how to, and I.
And sometimes it's a collective
Yes.
idea that it doesn't necessarily mean it's for you specifically, but you're tuning into the collective
Yes.
idea. And for many people on the planet, they still need permission slips of being in a certain place
Yes.
to acclimate to those energies, to be able to amplify the things that they need to make better connections. And I'm not saying that we couldn't benefit by that as well, but collectively there might be a pull to certain places to help them on their journey, and we're also feeling that, and it's because we're tuned in to the collective sometimes a little bit more. So I'm not even sure, is there something going on astrologically or otherwise that's inviting this energy in, but there's something going on.
And it's a reflection. Remember, you guys, it's not the cause.
Right.
It's the reflection, what we
So-
see around us. So I think it's definitely a reflection of as Dave said today, that I feel it. The tracks are splitting. The tracks are definitely splitting. And, well, they already have. The Earth's, and that how they're,
Realities.
the different versions of Earth are existing right now, and which ones all of us are navigating to. Which realities are we navigating to? Which ones do we prefer? So, and we are using this as a permission slip right now. Any of you who can go back, gosh, I just got this huge rush of the Max Headroom show. Just look it up if you don't know it, but those who know, that you know. So all of a sudden, I just got that, and I'm not saying that that's how it's going to happen, but I got that here, and because I started to say, this is a permission slip. This YouTube channel, this is all made up in our consciousness, but this is our permission slip, ours and yours, to connect with each other and to connect with all of this stuff, because we're creating this internet collective consciousness. And anybody out there, if we want to call it out there, who's excited to tap in, it's just a live stream of consciousness, just like all of creation is a live stream of consciousness. You just depends where you want to plug in. That's all. What channel, what station do you want to listen to today? So yeah, I think I'm gonna end there. And this is much longer than we anticipated, but you know what? This is about the whole thing about going with your highest joy and excitement, and Dave and I are like, yeah, let's just do it now.
Thanks for co-creating with us.
Yes.
We love you.
And Shivai Aveo Miyataka Shiano.
And aloha.
And aloha. Yes, aloha.